in all kinds of kinks.
Now you may have to remove your fender liner somewhat and your air down. Once you do that, we've got access to all our components. Now it says that we need to evac the AC. Now it says we have to remove our AC compressor and pull it down, so you may have to take yours to the shop, have the freon pulled out of it, then you can remove it and do all that. But flat rate says 1.6, 1.9, and we don't have time to be doing all that. So let's see if we can find another way of doing it. First, let's get this belt off. I don't know if you've ever replaced a belt on a 2.4. That is our tensioner, and this is our idler. But these bolts, if you notice in your set that a lot of times it don't have the wrenches you're looking for, it skips a step. Most time you can get a 5/8 is standard and it'll fit exactly. The bolt on the tensioner will be opposite of tightening and loosening a regular bolt. So you can just use it, pull it back, and pull your belt off. Now we know we got a lot of noise in there. We got an alternator code. You can hear it. Yeah, she's gone. So let's see if we can find anything else. It's got a little bit of play in it, which this is my nephew's vehicle, or his wife's. Got a little bit of play in it, which it seems to feel okay. And he went ahead and got a complete set with the 2 idler pulleys. First, we'll need access to our battery, so we can just turn these 2 retainers and push it back just a little bit and pop it up. Next, we'll remove our negative battery clamp, 10 millimeter, and want to make sure, wrap it with a rag just to make sure that it won't reconnect while you're not paying attention. Now we'll want to remove our wheel so we can gain access. We'll go ahead and remove our idler pulley, our lower one. Now this is a 5/8 or a 16. Now we can move on to our alternator bolt. We're just going to loosen it up that it just sits down in a cradle. Then we'll move to the top, go ahead and completely remove the bolt from the top of the alternator. Now we'll move back down to the bottom and we'll take us a pry bar or screwdriver and at near the top of the alternator and just pry it out about 2 or 3 inches. Now because this sits in a cradle, we can come down and with our bracket still hooked up on our AC, we can get between the bracket and the alternator and start tweaking it, pushing it up, and pull it out of the cradle. See if I can move this AC compressor out of the way without removing our AC or our freon. And what I'm going to do is I want to get the lower 2. This is one. There's one in the center. We're going to get them 2 first to remove this bracket. We have one at the very top. Now that we have removed the 3 bolts, we've got some play here. This won't come down, but what you got to be cautious of is this is a hard line coming all the way up and going inside. So we don't want to damage that. We're trying to save some time and some money, and it may end up costing us time and money, so you got to be cautious there. Now let's unplug our harness to our compressor. And I'm going to remove this bracket. Now there's a hole accessing that. But again, we got to be cautious because these are hard lines. Now if you look, there's our little red lock. Because all the dirt and grime's in there, you may have to get your screwdriver and pry out on that just a little bit. And then we're going to remove that 13 millimeter nut. So now we can go in there and our clip should move down. And we should be able to unplug it. Now Jackie was able to keep on working the compressor until he did get it completely out of the way. Now the book says to evac the system and to remove the compressor, so I'm just going to let you know if you want to take this route, you may be taking a chance on breaking a line. And he was able to stand the alternator up and drop it out through the bottom. Now don't forget to reinstall your long bolt, your lower bolt for your alternator with its nut. Screw it up until it just starts to touch the front of the alternator. Now all we have to do is set it down in this cradle and reverse the procedure. Now we can go ahead and install our upper bolt, and we're going to torque the upper and the lower bolts to 40 foot-pounds. Now we'll move to the back of the alternator and install our battery cable, tighten it to 89 inch-pounds, and plug in our small harness. Now we'll install the mounting bracket for the AC compressor, 13mm bolts, 18 foot-pounds. Now with our 13mm compressor bolts, we're going to install them at 18 foot-pounds. Our idler pulley bolt, 35 foot-pounds. And last, our drive belt. Here's our diagram. I'm Jim Noble.
Jackie Johnston, thanks for watching.